So let me start by saying just thanks for inviting us to join. I guess at one level it's kind of obvious you want to have some people from Acumatica involved in the Acumatica community, but we do take the community elements of what we're doing here very seriously. We're very proud of it, and it's one of the things that is just so vibrant and exciting that's surrounding around the company. And if there's a theme for what I'm going to talk about today, it's that everything we do at Acumatica is about aligning with customer needs. And we've talked about this before. I talk about how this is an obvious thing that all companies tend to say, but whether they really do it or not is sort of the real question. And one of the things I can say right off of the bat is how we think about the community playing in this, our community of customers and partners, is when you look at the last two releases, where we have 2021 R1 and R2. You saw a bunch of cool stuff over the last day and a bit of the releases. Doug talked about some of them, specific features. But what I'd like to highlight is there are several features inside both of these releases that were completely driven by the community through the voting that we have in the community feedback section. And so, please keep doing that. We do take that very seriously. We're always looking at what are the feature requests that are getting the top votes, and you can see that then being reflected in the product. And it's one of the things that does let us legitimately say we are being community driven, community focused, while trying to satisfy the needs of customers. Now, as those of you who've been around Acumatica now for 4 or 5 longer years, you've seen us start to develop and focus from horizontal financials and things like inventory and fixed assets into these full-blown industry editions. And it's no secret, these are the 4 that we're very focused on: distribution, manufacturing, construction, and then retail commerce. And each one of our releases is also simultaneously putting out a new release here for each of these industry editions. And these again allow us to be even more customer focused. A customer that's working in construction doesn't have the same needs as one that's working in retail commerce. And so by having everyone from product managers to a development team to marketing team working across that industry space, they get to really know and understand that industry vertical well. And it lets us deliver a better, more customer-oriented solution. And the proof there is that 78% of our sales in the last year have been industry editions. And so, while we still get a set of people who are buying what we call general business edition, typically people coming off of something that's a pure accounting solution, we are seeing the most growth and the most traction in these industry editions. And again, I believe that's because they're customer oriented. Now, again, anyone who's been with Acumatica for any length of time has hopefully seen this slide before. But it's good to go back and reflect on a decision that we made 10 years ago, which was, do we continue to build everything on top of this unified platform, or do we instead go off and try to assemble a company of different bits through acquisitions that you slam together and create something that I call Frankenstein software? And if you look at many of our competitors in the industry, that's effectively what they have. And what you get from that is you get an extremely jarring, disorienting flow as you move from module to module. And the fact that we've been able to stay consistent, built on top of the Acumatica Cloud XRP platform, that line second from the bottom there, that's where the magic secret sauce is. You have the security that runs across all the modules. You have the workflow, which lines up with the business process capabilities of Acumatica. And then that delivers that goodness up into the applications, the vertical embedded solutions, the industry editions etc. Now, that business process workflow is, in some ways, the biggest element that delivers on Acumatica's digital transformation promise. And we've been talking about digital transformation really since the beginning of this company. Acumatica as a company really is about digital transformation. Companies taking their old analog systems, disconnected data sources all over the company, and bringing them together into one beautifully aligned piece of software that can run the business. But at the summit, I started talking a little bit about what I think is a little bit of a controversial topic, where first of all, every vendor in the industry now is running around talking about digital transformation, and that's fine. It's they certainly can have a role, but I don't see anything that plays a bigger role in a company's digital transformation than their business software application infrastructure. And so, we believe we play a leading role in these customers' digital transformations. And the thing that I think is controversial is many of these other vendors are making it out like it's this magic moment in time and you're suddenly transformed. And as we've seen through our customer case studies and the stories that we tell on acumatica.com, is that the best customers are never done transforming. And that sounds a little scary, right? But it's sort of like the journey to perfection. You're never going to get there, but you've got a target in mind. And what you're really doing is you're trying to build business agility, business capability into your overall corporation, so that you can move and adjust as things change. And boy, if we've seen anything requiring the need for change in the last 2 years, it's we've seen the forest fires in California, Texas freeze, the floods, and then of course the pandemic. So through all of that, we've had this thing we put out there 4 years ago called the Customer Bill of Rights. And we put this out first as a challenge to the industry on how we thought software vendors should behave, because we saw a lot of vendors that we thought were behaving badly. And we challenged them to step up and treat customers better. But through the last 2 years, and I talked about this at the summit, this has become more than that. And it's become the company's North Star on how we make decisions on what's the right thing to do. And so it's playing an even more important role than ever inside Acumatica. And back to that need to have an agile business, you don't know what's going to be thrown at you. We introduced this term digital resiliency. And the idea that you are not just able to respond and restore your system back up to where it was before whatever the event was, but you're able to actually take advantage of this and expand, optimize, accelerate, and innovate, and ultimately capitalize on the event and thrive. And so, that's what we're doing, is we're delivering a digital infrastructure that has resiliency built in. And the first thing is availability. Do you have the uptime in your system that you require? Because if your system isn't up, you're not going to be able to deliver anything. And so this is, the sort of, as you sort of go up the Pavlov's needs pyramid, to me, this is pretty fundamental at the bottom. And Acumatica for many years has been delivering extremely high uptime. And then, are you able to meet the needs of the scale that's going on? As we've seen businesses shift to online over the last 2 years, the transaction volume has increased amazingly. And so, 4.8 billion, and this is data from a few months ago, so I'm sure we're over 5 billion transactions a month at this point. But, again, we're doing that at a very high uptime level, a very high performance level. And, this, again, is what you need to be able to expect from the vendor. We're doing that with compliance, and that means things like SOC 1 and SOC 2. SOC 1 and SOC 2 play and the operations of the role of the entity. Is the software operations, is the cloud being run properly? And that then connects into things like crypto security, cybersecurity, ransom. Those of you who were at the summit this year heard the story from Mosaic that talked about how they had two parts of the business, one running Acumatica, one that wasn't. The one that wasn't got hit by a ransomware attack and was completely taken down. The other part stayed running through the entire event, and in fact, it was able to move business over to it and help take up some of the needs from the event, the impact from the event. So security, cybersecurity, only becoming more important. All right, so let me bring this back to the community, right? Because that's what acuCONNECT is all about. And this community out there, this amazing, vibrant community, is something we're so excited about and happy to participate in. The Acumatica Mvps, I'll do a shout out to them because they are at the heart of the community. They are actively participating here in this event. They're up on the Acumatica community website. They're at the summits, etc., hackathons. But just to show you the power of the community in action here, I wanted to show you that apparently the community got together through acuCONNECT, and I pulled this down off the acuCONNECT website yesterday. And you'll see over here, the first thing they did was apparently I did something that upset them, and they demoted me. So I've gone from Chief Executive Officer to Chief Operating Officer. So very powerful in the community. I'm not sure how Nigel, our COO, is going to feel about that, but we'll let him know later today. But on a more serious note, what I was really impressed by, and what I think shows the future of where we're going with our community, was examples of the sessions like this one I circled here, taking GIs to the next level. And here you see Nicole and Mike doing a session. So these are two people who are not employees of Acumatica, who've gotten together and delivering a session that is about one of the most fundamental and important aspects of Acumatica, how to surface the data through a generic inquiry. But this is the community doing it for the community. And this is exactly the sort of thing we want to see more of. And we want to see this happening in all forums. Even at the summit, I want to start seeing community members being able to present at the summit. So, so what is the community? Well, the community, of course, is made up of many partners. We've got a lot of different partner types out there, and many of them are here participating in this acuCONNECT event. Over 350 VAR organizations, reselling organizations, certified silver and gold. And, as they've continued to grow their Acumatica practices inside that, this is amounting to thousands and thousands of individuals working inside these organizations that are part of this Acumatica community, right? And so that's the first part, I believe over 10,000 now that are in that part of the community. And then we have the ISVs, and these are the ISVs, many of whom are sponsors. I saw the Avalera sponsoring the 4:15 Eastern happy hour, which will be 1:15 out here. So I guess I can join in. Just remembering, I happen to have a bottle of tequila from one of our most recent Acumatica customers. So you'll be hearing more about them later. So maybe we'll crack that open at 1:15 and join you guys. But the ISVs should play a very important role here, because no company, no matter how big, particularly as we get more industry and sub-vertical specified or specific, can meet the needs of everything. And so the ISVs fill those voids. They come in and they extend Acumatica into very important directions. And again, these ISVs, they range from 5 people to 50,000 people. And so again, another important group of what's going on in this community. And you see, as over the years, this has grown. We're categorizing here, product centric, service centric, business intelligence and analytic tools, productivity enhancements. But there's also a whole set that are getting very aligned by industry edition as well. And then on top of that, I've called out here a set of what are really large and global players, some of which we've been involved in for many years, and some of which are newer. But I think, again, identifies an important trend for where are we going with different partner types, where is the community going? And, so at the summit, we showed the Adobe document markup work that we've done with them. And of course, we did the document e-signature with Adobe a few years ago. Amazon's been a deep partner with us in the Acumatica cloud, but also in other areas in business analytics and some of the things going on in artificial intelligence, machine learning. Microsoft's been a deep partner. Acumatica is built on top of the Microsoft software stack, but beyond that, we were the first guys to do Office 365 integration. We were the first guys to do Power BI, which has been amazing. And most recently, you've seen us integrating Teams, which is opening up new levels of connection and productivity inside the product. And then across the bottom, you see UiPath, Procore and construction, and BigCommerce and Shopify playing important roles in that retail commerce offering. And you're going to see more of these. As Acumatica continues to grow, we're being reached out to all the time by vendors coming in and saying, "Hey, we now see you playing a role in some customers of ours, and we would like to connect and get something going." And what's good about that is, again, to bring it back to the community, is this is driving further community expansion and bringing exposure of Acumatica into places that might not have seen it before. In regard to the ISVs, again, many of them involved in acuCONNECT, and as you're thinking about buying an ISV solution, we've been working for years around this certification component. So you want to make sure it's something that's certified. You can go up onto the Acumatica website, the marketplace, and you can see reviews. How is it reviewed? What are the peers saying? And they're committed to working with us on the roadmap. And so again, here's a snapshot of the Acumatica marketplace. You can see just some of the, there are hundreds of software products up there at this point. And I'm highlighting here a box called Fulfilled by Acumatica. And Fulfilled by Acumatica is sort of the pinnacle of where ISVs can go in terms of a connection with Acumatica, because you're not only certified, but you've connected so deeply with Acumatica that we are able to deliver the ISV solution alongside, from a business contract standpoint, all the way to product delivery. And the ease that brings to the table, simplicity, is one of the things that we're hearing customers tell us they really, really appreciate. So you're only going to see more of that happening. So at the summit, we announced 8,000 plus customers. We've gone through that barrier globally, and we continue to grow and explode, and it's exciting. We don't sleep much sometimes, but it's always exciting. And this is from the summer IDC research that, again, for the 8th year in a row, is saying Acumatica is the fastest growing ERP company globally. And I mean, you can see who the players are there. Those are not irrelevant companies. And so, this is something we're focused on, we're proud about, but it's really more the outcome of us doing the right things, from being customer oriented, from being community centric. That's the outcome that we see by doing that well. So that growth, what's happening with that growth? Well, we're putting it back into Acumatica, the company. I'm sitting here in Kirkland, Washington. It's 8 25 here. You can see it's still quite dark outside. You know, the sun supposedly came up at 7:58, but it's dark. So this is the Seattle area in the winter, I'm afraid. But you know, this is our brand new office here in Kirkland. We were in Kirkland, we moved to Bellevue, and we're now back in Kirkland. And if you're, you know, as things start to open up and you do find yourselves out and about, please, you're always welcome to come and visit us. You know, the office in Montreal, Canada, again, we've taken a much bigger space in Montreal. I was in England last week. Some of you might have seen some of the traffic we were putting out on LinkedIn. And we've opened an office in Soho, right in London. So exciting to go and visit that and some of the customers and partners over there. And then the office we opened up a little bit more than a year ago in Sri Lanka. It's rapidly growing, and again helping us with global support. As we try to do 24/7, even better. Having a set of people that can be working on the other side of the world is one of the things that makes that much easier. So that growth is great, but if it's not happening without quality and without customer satisfaction, I would argue it's for naught. So this is again something that we spend a lot of time looking at is what are customers saying about us up on sites like G2 or Gartner Peer Insights. And again, we're very happy to find ourselves at the top of the latest G2 customer satisfaction survey. Here you see on the bottom axis is satisfaction, and we're all the way to the right. And then on the y-axis is the momentum. And you see again the momentum that Acumatica is showing in the marketplace appear there. But it's great. It's important to be growing, but we think it's also really important to be growing responsibly. And I'll bring this back again to customers. We're hearing this more and more from our customers, from our community, that being respectful of the planet that we live on is important. And so we announced at the summit that we were running our summit in a sustainable manner, trying to create as little waste as possible, and then also offsetting all of the other carbon footprint from the event, including all of the plane travel, the carbon footprint from the planes of our customers and partners coming to the event. And then we run Acumatica, the company, in a carbon neutral manner, and we run the Acumatica cloud in a carbon neutral manner. And again, we think that this is an important thing to be talking about, and we think it's important to us. We think it's important to our customers. We're hearing it more and more. So last slide I've got is, here it is, early November. We've got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas, and then we've got the Acumatica Summit back in Vegas at the Wynn Casino at the end of January. I'll be there along with most of the Acumatica team. It's a live in-person connection point. The last one was really amazing. So thanks to all of you who came and joined. The Wynn is just an amazing venue to be able to do something like that in. It's again a factor of the Acumatica growth that we're now doing them in a venue like the Wynn. So I hope you can join me at that in January. And that is what I wanted to share with you. It's all about orienting towards customers. The community is a driving force within that. So thank you to all of you. And we're just trying to build the best product we can to help all of you in your digital transformation journey. Thank you.
Well, thanks, John. Appreciate that. That was excellent. And I thought one thing I noticed, in our business world, it's changing so fast that, when you think you're at the end point, it always seems, it's only for that time. And then the end point keeps moving and you got to keep changing. So, and over the last, 5-6 years, I've seen Acumatica really take that to heart, and really every time every year come out with new and enhanced features, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there are always, things like the base, compliance or certification requirements that we have to do. The accounting industry doesn't stand still, and things like ASC 606 had a huge impact on our industry. So those are things we have to do. But if you look at the integration we did with, I'm not happy wearing my Apple Watch. We were the first people to be doing things with wearables inside ERP. 5 years ago, no one was thinking about things like that. And so, and yet now it's here. And we're able to do the things like that, back to that decision on the platform, right? By building on top of this consistent platform, it lets us be very agile in terms of what we're able to do from there. So, all right, well, look, you guys, I have a great rest of event. Thanks again for the invitation, and I hope to see some of you at the summit in January, face to face.